All right, get ready to dive into something really interesting with us today. We're taking a deep dive into a new radio show called Golden Harmony of Happiness.
Oh, that's a great title.
Isn't it?
Catchy.
Right? And you can actually catch this show every Saturday morning. It's on Taiwan's national education radio.
Yeah, so this show is hosted by two people who are experts in aging and well-being. We're talking Professor John Chiang.
Professor John Chiang. Yes?
Yiteng Su.
Yiteng Su. And you know what's interesting about these two?
Oh, yeah.
Professor Chiang is a Golden Bell Award-winning host
So prestigious.
from the Department of Special Education.
And Yiteng Su is a PhD candidate in that same department.
So they're bringing a really unique perspective to this show. And the show tackles something that we don't often talk about enough, and that's aging, the challenges and the opportunities that come with getting older. And they do it with a mix of humor, insightful commentary, and inspiring stories. It really makes you stop and think.
Yeah, and they jump right in, challenging these stereotypes about aging. Right from the very beginning of the show, they share these amazing stories about elderly individuals doing some incredible athletic feats. I mean, it just makes you reconsider what's possible as we age.
Oh, I was blown away by the story of the 100-year-old woman who took up running and broke marathon records.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
It's unbelievable. And then there was the 70-year-old man completing a 42-kilometer marathon in under 3 hours.
I mean, that's impressive for anyone.
Right.
But he only started running in his late 50s.
Wow.
Like, come on.
It makes you think, what have I been doing with my life?
Exactly.
And it doesn't stop there.
Oh, no.
There was also a 90-year-old woman with Parkinson's disease.
Incredible.
Weightlifting, competing in international competitions.
Yeah, I mean, you hear these stories.
Yeah.
And you really start to wonder, why do we put these limits on ourselves?
Yeah.
These preconceived notions about what's possible at different ages?
It's all in our heads, right?
I think so.
And that's where the structure of this show, I think, really shines.
Oh, how so?
They don't just present these stories in isolation. They weave in this historical context,
Okay.
reminding us that before the 19th century, people rarely lived past 40.
Wow.
That's a huge shift in life expectancy.
It really puts things in perspective.
So we need to rethink how we approach aging and health in modern times.
Absolutely.
And this show, Golden Harmony of Happiness, gives us a great framework for doing just that.
It does. And one of my favorite segments is called Silver Haiku.
Silver Haiku. Now I'm intrigued. What is that?
So they share a collection of haiku written by elderly individuals in Japan. And these haikus offer a really unique perspective on the realities of aging. Sometimes poignant, sometimes funny. They touch on all kinds of themes, like how quickly life passes, how family dynamics change, and even the physical challenges that come with getting older.
It's like a window into someone else's world, captured in just a few lines.
Exactly.
It's really powerful.
I think so, too.
Speaking of powerful stories,
Yeah.
we have to talk about the interview with Lai Chi-Chi. This is a visually impaired individual who's embraced such an active lifestyle.
Lai's story is so inspiring. He's an athlete. Despite his visual impairment, he swims, he cycles, he runs.
Amazing.
And he talks about something really important in his interview, the need for accessible environments so that people of all abilities can participate.
That's a crucial point.
So many people are excluded simply because the environment isn't designed for them.
It's a barrier.
It is.
We need to design our communities to be inclusive of everyone.
Regardless of their physical limitations.
Now, the show doesn't just stop at inspiring stories. They get into the practical side of things, too.
Oh, yeah, like what?
They address the issue of elderly individuals not exercising enough, or their exercise routines being too limited.
Yeah, they had Yu-Chen on the show to talk about that. She's a senior social worker
Yeah.
and an experienced athlete.
What a combination.
Right. And her own journey is really motivating. She used to avoid exercise, but now she's a dedicated athlete. And she emphasizes that it's never too late to start.
It's never too late.
Never.
I love that.
And she gives some great advice on how to incorporate exercise into her life.
Practical tips.
Yeah. And they even introduced this catchy 6-character mantra for approaching exercise.
Oh, a mantra. I love it. What is it?
It's share.
Whoa. Okay, break that down for me.
You're right. So the first character means consider yourself. It's all about choosing activities that you enjoy, things that fit your personality, your preferences.
Things you can actually do, right?
Exactly.
We have the resources for.
And then we have share, which means diverse activities.
Okay.
They encourage you to explore all sorts of different activities so you can find something that keeps you engaged and excited.
Keeps you from getting bored.
Yes. And then there's another ha.
Another one.
Yes. It stands for multiple exercise scenarios.
Okay, that's interesting.
This one is about being able to adapt your exercise routine to different environments, different weather conditions.
If you're traveling.
Exactly. Or if you have time constraints. So you can stay active no matter what life throws at you.
That's really helpful.
Right. And then we move on to U, which means gradual progress.
Gradual progress.
Start slowly, gradually, increase the intensity and duration of your workouts.
Avoid injury.
Exactly, and burnout.
Listen to your body.
Absolutely.
And then there's U, which means...
love yourself.
Yes.
This is about rewarding yourself for your efforts and investing in things that support your well-being, like good workout gear or maybe a trainer.
Self-care is so important.
Yes. And finally, we have I, which means plan and record.
Plan and record.
Set goals, make a plan, and track your progress.
Stay motivated.
Celebrate your achievements.
I love it.
Right. So they pack a lot into those 6 characters.
That's amazing. Now, they end the episode with a reflection, right?
They do.
What was that about?
It was inspired by the theme song of a movie. It's called Go Grand Riders.
Go Grand Riders.
It's about a group of senior citizens who take a motorcycle journey around Taiwan.
Wow.
And the song, it's called The Journey. It really emphasizes that dreams are not out of reach, no matter your age.
It's about finding those dreams in the everyday moments of our lives.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
It's a nice way to end the episode.
It really ties into the whole message of the show. Embracing the possibilities of aging.
Prioritizing well-being.
Through exercise and meaningful connections.
It's about more than just physical health.
It's about living a fulfilling life, no matter how old you are.
Exactly.
Golden Harmony of Happiness sounds like so much more than just a radio show.
It really is.
It's like a call to action.
It is.
A call to reimagine what it means to age gracefully.
To age vibrantly.
Now, before we move on to part 2, I have to ask you, what resonated most with you from this episode?
Oh, that's a tough one. Let me see. I think what really struck me was it's hard to pick just one thing. There are so many great takeaways from this episode. But I think what really stood out to me was how they blend those personal stories with expert advice and even cultural elements like the haiku.
Yeah, they create this tapestry
Yes.
of different perspectives on aging.
Exactly.
It's not just about telling people to exercise. It's about understanding the why,
Yeah.
the how, and the deeper meaning behind it.
And when you hear those personal anecdotes, it makes it so much more relatable and
Right.
inspiring.
You feel like you're having a conversation with a friend.
Sharing their experiences, their wisdom,
It's authentic,
and encouraging.
which is key, I think, when you're trying to motivate people to make changes in their lives.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about individual well-being,
Yeah.
right?
No, they also talked about the importance of accessible environments.
That was a big takeaway for me. La Chichi's story was so powerful. It reminded us that we need to consider everyone in our communities, regardless of their physical abilities,
Yeah, we need to create a more inclusive society.
where everyone can thrive.
I think that ties back to the show's title, Golden Harmony of Happiness.
It does.
It's not just about individual happiness. It's about creating harmony and well-being for society as a whole.
I like that. And they do a good job of connecting those big societal themes with practical advice, like the 6-character mantra for approaching exercise.
Oh, yeah, that mantra is so helpful.
It is.
It's easy to remember, and it gives you concrete steps to take.
It's actionable.
Exactly.
I think that's what makes Golden Harmony of Happiness so unique.
I agree.
They blend the big ideas with actionable steps, personal stories with expert knowledge, and they even manage to sprinkle in humor and heart.
It's a winning combination.
They make aging feel like something to embrace, rather than
Yeah.
something to fear,
And that's a message that resonates with everyone.
regardless of age or fitness level.
Exactly.
So, bottom line, would you recommend this show to our listeners?
Oh, absolutely.
You would.
Without a doubt.
That's great to hear.
If you're looking for tips on staying active, inspiring stories, or just a dose of humor and heart, Golden Harmony of Happiness has it all.
Awesome. You mentioned they have a website.
They do.
What can people find there?
You can learn more about the show, listen to past episodes, and find more information on aging and well-being.
Fantastic. We'll be sure to include that in the show notes.
Perfect.
And they're on FM radio too,
Every Saturday morning.
so there's no excuse to miss it.
Nope.
Sounds like a must listen. For anyone interested in living a longer, healthier, more fulfilling life.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, before we wrap up this part, I want to go back to that question from earlier. What stood out to you most from this episode?
You know what? I think for me it was. It was the way they talked about the importance of connection. Finding a workout buddy, joining a group class, or just spending time with loved ones. They really emphasized how social interaction is so crucial for aging well.
Absolutely. It's not just about physical health. It's about mental and emotional well-being, too.
Exactly, and those things are all connected. Social isolation can have such a negative impact on both our physical and mental health, especially as we get older.
So it sounds like this show is advocating for a more holistic approach to aging,
Yeah, they're looking at the whole picture.
considering all aspects of well-being.
And they do it in such a positive and engaging way.
Does it feel overwhelming
Right, it's just a conversation.
about how to live a happier, healthier life?
And a more connected life.
And I think that ties back to the closing reflection they shared
The one inspired by the journey.
from the movie Go Grand Writers.
Exactly. It's a reminder that dreams aren't limited by age. Life is a journey,
And there's always something new to discover.
no matter where you are on that path.
It's about finding joy and meaning in every stage of life.
I love that.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think the biggest takeaway is this. Don't let age define you.
I like that.
Embrace the possibilities. Prioritize your well-being. And nurture those meaningful connections. And if you're looking for a little inspiration along the way, be sure to check out Golden Harmony of Happiness.
Yes, you can find it on their website or listen on FM radio.
It's a great show.
It really is. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive today. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.